Alright guys, so this is going to be a video covering on how to install a curve fin on your boat and how to properly adjust and find that neutral setting for the mount, your fin, and how to go about that and how about finding it. So what I've done is taken the boat, I've taken the old fin off, I've taken it, put it upside down, and I use leftover batteries, but you can use blocks of wood, you can use anything to really kind of lift it, and you want to get it as stable as possible. So right now it's pretty stable upside down, so it's not going to rock. Another great tool if you don't have one of these, it is a digital angle finder. You can find them at most hardware stores, Amazon, many different places. I put a little piece of wood here, it gives me a nice flat surface, so that way I can put it here, check my angle on that, from the bottom of the boat to here, for example, point, we'll zero it out, 0 0, and you can see 0.1 kind of upwards, about close enough, 0.1, so but basically about the same. So anyway, so back to this now. So when you get your turn fin, it's going to look like this. It's going to have the curve. This can go for most any curved fins. What I do is I'll get myself a Sharpie marker, take it, and I'll put it on a flat surface. That way, let's see if we can find a better surface. This is my work table. But the flatter, the better of an edge you can. And what you're looking for is about when that curve wants to start. So you move it back and forth a couple times, and then it's about to where it lays nice and flat, you put a mark. And then we will do the same thing on the inside. Hopefully you guys can see that. Nice and flat, nice and flat, and then as soon as it starts coming up on that curve, it's gonna start coming up. Give or take about right there. So now we got our 2 marks there. Now we're gonna take a ruler, flat edge, whatever you got. All you gotta do is just make a nice straight line. Boom, done. So now we got our curve. Not curve, but we got our angle what that curve is. So it is very helpful to knowing it, so when you go put it on your boat, you can see right there, and kind of see what it looks like. Because now when your marker is a good indication on how that fin is pointed forward or backwards, tilted, canted, give some good indicator and ideas. All right, so we're at this point here now. So here, when we're running a curved fin, it is very important that this is straight up and down. I run a aftermarket, I made this mount here so I can move the fin up and down. And so, but your stock one will work just fine. So you will take your digital angle gauge and set it to 0. And then what we want to do is be 90 degrees or straight up and down here. So we'll take it, I'm 87 degrees, 86 degrees, so technically I can come in a hair. So I'm gonna adjust it. I'm gonna adjust mine in a little bit. Once we get the right, this guy, one of these 3, this looks a little bit better. There we go. So we're gonna loosen it up. Now you can see on mine, I have a black mark where it needs to be. So we'll put the digital angle gauge on it. We will move this until we read 90 degrees. If you get close, that's great. That's all you need. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Bingo. Close enough. 89.9. And then I took a marker, I marked it there. Because if you don't do this, 89.5, close enough. Because if you don't do this, what will happen, especially with a curved fin, it'll allow the fin to run inside or outside like this, which then can turn the curved fin into like a planing surface and basically almost like a, basically really wants that sponson to really ride on the curved fin. You know, we don't want the boat to ride on the fin. You know, we want it just only, you know, hook right into the corners and just, you know, grab that water and just hold it in there and not allow it to kind of really pop up. So we want this to be up and down straight as possible. So now we're gonna go ahead and install this. Probably many people have asked me, you know, running it, do we run it inside, do we run it outside? Now when we run the fin, you know, my personal belief is we got this edge right here, the outside trailing edge of the sponson, and you know, we want to be inside of our bracket, so it puts our fin in line with this right here. So I'm gonna run on the inside. You know, personally, I believe the inside is a better way of running it. And then with my bracket I have here, I like to run in the upper hole, so it kind of really pulls that fin up high, and you know, have less running in the water. So we'll put our screws in. And tighten up all the screws, and we're just gonna get them snug so that way we can set our fin. Because this part is very important to make sure, you know, it's sitting at least neutral for starting out, and then depending, you know, how you want the boat running, you can adjust it to however your liking is. So I got a little bit of downward angle on it. We're gonna be fixing that here shortly. Get a couple screws all done in there. So what we're gonna do, you can kind of see, you know, my lines right here, it's kind of pointing down. You know, we want to be to the bottom of the surface of the boat. And then we'll come down, look at it, still looking like a slight cant backwards, so I'm gonna go here forward. So about there, that's about close enough. For another technique that works really good and kind of cheating at this is I have small little clamps right here. I'll show you a little bit of a cheat, and then what I'm looking from here. Is I am looking for, you know, I think we could probably get away with that. The little gauge for when we're doing the strut adjustment. So what we're gonna do, take this little gauge. Basically, we just need something with a good thing, so that way we can take the gauge, we can line it up to our line now, put our clamp on. I like these little clamps, and then these guys here, this will work too. Well, thought so. Here's one of my bigger ones. Okay. So now we got that on there, we'll adjust it to about where that line It's gonna be okay. So the gauge is lined up with the line. Now we're gonna take this thing again, put it on the bottom of the boat, zero it out so we can get that. It'd be 0, 0. So now we can take our gauge, we can put it on here, and showing I'm a 0.4 down, 0.3 down on our line. So then technically I can move the fin that way just a hair. So if I can do this without throwing stuff off. Oh. When you're moving this fin, it's very sharp. Just gotta be careful not to slice yourself. Point 1 on my line. We're gonna say good. So that is another cheating way to do it. Or you can just eyeball you can do too if you don't have all the necessary tools. And then from here, we will tighten everything up and make sure it doesn't move from here. And for me, it's not very often that I will change the settings on this. Once I get a good setting, it stays. There's no really a lot of need to go changing it up. So just covering over that, a couple different ways you can set that up, but this is how I do it. Very simple process of setting the fin up, getting it straight up and down, especially if you're running a curved fin like this one here. So hopefully this will help you guys learn and give you some ideas on how to set that fin up to get it into a good, proper position. So hope you guys like this. Please subscribe, like, comment if you want to see more. You like videos like this and give you more breakdowns and kind of going over everything. So thank you for watching.